Tucker Carlson talks about MS13 in Maryland. You have to listen to this to believe it.
Ariana Fuentes-Diaz's death could easily have been prevented. It wasn't an act of God or some freak accident. It wasn't even a random crime, the kind that inevitably occurs in a country as big as ours is. No, her death was the product of a deliberate policy. Our leadership class has decided to downplay the threat of MS-13. Why? Because Trump attacked MS-13. Therefore, in the demented zero-sum calculation of permanent Washington, MS-13 must be virtuous. The enemy of Donald Trump must be my friend. That's how they think. It all started almost exactly a year ago when the president said this.
So when the MS-13 comes in, when the other gang members come into our country, I refer to them as animals. And guess what? I always will.
MS-13's motto is kill, rape, control. They routinely torture and murder high school students. They bring drugs across the border and into our neighborhoods. They're the deadliest criminal gang in America. And yet, once Trump attacked them, the left decided that worrying about MS-13 was a greater threat to our values than the gang itself. Anyone who criticized MS-13 was denounced as a racist, if not a tool of Putin.
So everybody out there, and millennials, this happened right outside the nation's capital. Right outside. Fox News is one of the few news sources, news outlets that's actually reporting this stuff. It's a 14-year-old girl was killed with a machete and a baseball bat when an MS-13 gang members turned on an associate in extremely violent behavior. The body of the victim was found in nearby Prince George's County, which is right adjacent to Washington, D.C., and the folks who killed her, one was 16, one was 17, and one was 14. Unbelievable. And this, of course, is happening a lot more frequently than I think is actually even being reported. Thoughts on this, guys?
It's ridiculous because honestly, the two individuals that committed this crime, they were arrested for attempted murder beforehand, and the ICE had a detainer, and then PG County released them to a juvenile detention facility.
So Prince George's County had them, the police had them, and ICE had a detainer, and Prince George's County let them go
to the juvenile detention facility, saying, "Oh, that's no longer our jurisdiction," which is kind of like, wait, whoa, and then they got released back into to the general population. And guess what happened? They wanted to kill the potential snitch, which was unfortunately this 14-year-old girl who was potentially a snitch. So that was the reason why they wanted to kill her, because they didn't want to get outed again. But they were arrested for attempted murder. They should not be on the streets. They should go. I don't know what you want to do with them. Send them back, put them in jail for life with no parole.
Enforce the laws. I mean,
there you go.
That's why just enforce the laws as they are. Like, it makes no sense. Certain laws make sense. We talk a lot about these dumb bills, but when it comes to public safety, there's a lot of good laws out there. And when ICE wants to look at someone because they've attempted murder and they've broken the law already, like, we should probably enforce it. These sanctuary policies are bad for public safety.
And if you're attempting murder and you're a minor, you gotta be charged as an adult. There's no mercy there. Come on.
What just amazes me that here's a state and a county in particular, the county, Prince George's County, is directly adjacent to the nation's capital. And they let these, and of course, ICE, of course, I'm sure has offices in downtown D.C. or Northern Virginia, certainly within 40 minutes of this location. And it wouldn't take very long at all for someone to get there, and they let them go.
And unfortunately, the story's not new. The unfortunate murder of innocents by MS-13 gang members, and it's the growing population of MS-13 in the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. It's just because of just politics, political games, and we're seeing the consequences unfold right in front of our doorsteps.
Yes, and I want everyone to know out there that one of the individuals, there are three individuals that committed this horrible murder, of course, because they macheted her and hit her with a bat and so forth, which is just awful. I can't imagine this kind of death. One of them lives really close to us. It's incredible. One of these evil individuals lives really close to us.
It's ridiculous that politics is what plays the part in this, because it's a battle between the Democrats who say that want the sanctuary policies and say, well, we're a country that we're open to everyone, we have to let everyone in. And the Republicans are saying it's about public safety. They're breaking laws. And what's frustrating, the state of Maryland is continuing to push policies. Other states as well, but Maryland, for example, is continuing to push policies. Just recently, they passed a bill. The governor of Maryland was pushing for legislation to expand community college to all residents. No, the Democrats decided they didn't want to expand it to all residents. They wanted to expand state scholarships to only residents who are in the state illegally. And the governor just vetoed this bill. I mean, I literally look at it in the Baltimore Sun. The governor of the state of Maryland just vetoed a bill. He said, "Why don't we expand it to everyone?" They said no. They killed his version and said only illegals should get state-funded scholarships.
In almost the same vein, he just vetoed a bill just today saying that if you committed a crime with a gun, you should get double the penalties for repeat times.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, shouldn't feds defund sanctuary cities? I mean, it's like a no-brainer. We need federal legislation to do this. And should illegals reimburse taxpayers for services? I mean, I think they should.
I mean, hasn't Trump threatened that? Like already, he's threatened to defund certain areas that have sanctuary state policies.
There have been a couple of bills, of course, United States Congress. Naturally, of course, we have Democrats who control the House and Republicans who control the Senate. But they had this opportunity, of course, when Paul Ryan was ahead of the House of Representatives. And, of course, Republicans also controlled the Senate, and they really didn't do what needed to be done. No. I mean, it's really sad.
Yes.
A lot of nothing.
And on that point, though, there should be a pathway to citizenship for illegals, but then there again, there need to be a way to pay back for all the services they have in a protracted rate, or there has to be some mechanism, some system to give back to the communities that they've been living in.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Fisher with Mark and the Millennials. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.